Hello everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to another Thursday evening here at the DanceFit Hub. Welcome. My name is Catherine. I am your virtual fitness coach. So welcome to the group, everyone. We are here for another Thursday's Facebook Live training. So let me know in the comments who is joining live. Now I have to just fix my screen because it looks a little crooked, but that's okay. Yeah, so another Thursday. We are getting already close to the end of April. I can't even believe it. This is my birthday month, so of course I'm super excited. I don't want it to end. But yeah, all good things must come to an end, and everything has a season, right? So, if you celebrated a birthday this month, let me know in the comments. All right, so this evening we have another topic, hopefully not too long. I usually try to keep these to 30 minutes because I know everybody is busy and you have all exciting lives and exciting things to get to, and so do I. But I am here to give you guidance, right? To give you information on the misinformation that is out there, so that you can continue to live strong and independent lives. All right. So if you're brand new, if you're watching this and you just joined like this week, let me know that in the comments. And also just think about this in the back of your mind. And if the answer comes to you, go ahead and put it in the comments. But what has been your favorite thing about these Facebook Lives that I do on Thursdays? What's your favorite thing? Like if you had one thing to say about them, what would that be? Put that in the comments. All right, so let me check this out. I see one person. Let me see who that is. Okay, fabulous. All right, so tonight we are going to be chatting about, we haven't really spoken about this, but it came up kind of in my life and this week, so I'm like, you know what, we're talking about this. So come on in, grab your water, get comfortable, and I want this to be as interactive as possible. So whatever questions I throw out there, please be completely honest and put them in the comments. If you're watching this later on the replay, send me an email with your responses. I will gladly take a look and see what your thoughts were. All right, so again, thank you so much for being here today. And I'm gonna start with a quick question. The question is, has anybody here ever had pain that just kept coming back? Okay, it could be pain anywhere. Not a person who was a pain that kept coming back, but a pain in your body. Okay, anywhere in your body, on your body, where you experience pain and it just kept coming back. So if your answer is yes, just put like any emoji in the comments. Could be a thumbs up, could be like a high five, whatever it is, just put it in there. And you know, like when we're talking about a pain that keeps coming back, like just like an annoying pain that would never, like it just seemed like never go away, right? A pain that kind of had you thinking like, wait a minute, what is really going on with my body, right? Because I have to tell you that lately that's been me. And last year, it started with my elbow, right? My elbow started hurting and it was first diagnosed as tennis elbow. Very common thing, right? Although I don't play tennis, but I do drum. So could be a little connection there. And like so many people, I did what most of us do, right? Because of desperation, really, because it was just getting unbearable. It was starting to impact my everyday life, right? I got the cortisone shot, right? I mean, I'm sure we're all familiar with that. This is an over 50 group. So I'm sure at some point in your life, you have met cortisone, right? And for a few days, I thought, okay, like I am good. This is awesome, right? Because that's what the ortho said. He said, you're going to, it's not too bad. You're young. This is going to take care of it. Oh, awesome. Yes. Go ahead. Go for it, doc. I'm ready. But the pain came back. Surprise, surprise. The pain came back. And so I did all the things, right? I did all the things that a lot of you recommended because I went to the people that, have these pains or have had them. And I wore the brace. I cut back on my activity. I rested. The elbow, I tried not to use it as much as I could, but nothing really helped, right? I mean, like, how many times in your lifetime have you heard, just rest it? How many times? Give me a number, put it in the comments, because after today, you're gonna realize I've been told that a lot in my lifetime, right? So this pain wasn't going away, so I pushed for an MRI. I didn't want to be going back and forth so many times. It was getting exhausting. Plus, every time you see the orthopedist, it's a visit every single time. And I'm like, I just want the MRI. Something is not right. And I just wanted to get to the bottom of it already. I was like, is something going on? And guess what we found? There was a tear. Okay, and it wasn't a big tear, but there was a tear in there. Okay, and so the options were, we can fix the tear. I'm like, yes, that was attractive, but we'd have to do a full tear. No, I didn't want that. So wait, you have to do a full tear to fix a little tear? Oh yes, we have to do a full tear, which means we basically have to tear it completely and then repair it. No, thank you. What else? Right? Okay, well, we can do nothing, and you would just go to some physical therapy and, take some anti-inflammatories. Not really. I don't see this as like a fix-it kind of situation. So then he gave me a third option, which when he was explaining it, I was like, I have never heard of this in my life, but I researched it, looked like it was a legitimate procedure. And so I ended up having a tenotomy. Now, it technically on paper was a surgery, but there was no cutting involved. It was like an injection, really, it looked like, because it was this big needle that took out all of the debris, punctured the area, the tendon, so that it can produce regrowth in the area. And then 6 weeks of physical therapy, which that was awesome. I loved my physical therapist. And the pain is gone. Happy to say, right? All good, right? I'm like, yes, woo, got through that. So happy now, right? Okay, well, a few months after, my shoulder on the same side decides it's unhappy, okay? And so back to the same orthopedist, right? Because the guy that does the elbow also does the shoulder. So I'm like, okay, what do we do? Is there like a tenotomy for this? Like, what do we do? He's like, no, you have bursitis. Oh, okay. So what are my options? Okay, well, the cortisone shot should take care of it. Okay, when you say should take care of it, like it's going to take care of it, or maybe. And of course, as all medical professionals, they can't guarantee anything. So he's like, well, it doesn't look like it's a tear or anything like that. They did do the x-ray. So this should take care of it. Looks like a common bursitis. Okay, well, when I sleep, it hurts a lot. Yes, that's because it's inflamed. So what we can do is give you the shot. If the shot doesn't work, then I'll prescribe some anti-inflammatories. Okay, so the shot should take care of this. Yes, okay. Did it. I was supposed to do the things, right? Rested, all that stuff, still hurting. Okay, so now I have to go back, right? So I have to go back, and now I'm gonna have to ask for an MRI, because at this point I am not gonna go back and forth like I did for my elbow. So that's another appointment that I have to make. And now, are you ready for this? This month, it started little by little. It was like a little annoying little thing. And I'm like, I remember my mom kind of talking about this, but not sure that this is what's going on. Now I have trigger thumb, okay? Not only in one hand, well, the thumb is in this one, but I'm also getting pain on my other hand. And what is that? Tendinitis, right? So I didn't have to go to the orthopedist to figure this out. I figured it out. That is what it is. And does it hurt more after I do activities like drumming? Yes. Okay. So I already know where this is going. So let me just clearly say this. The joint pains that I have are not just because of age. Because I know some of you right now are like, oh yes, Catherine, welcome to your 50s. Like, this is happening because you're getting older. No. For me, and for a lot of you, a lot of us, this joint pain is a result of overuse over time, right? So for me, I have personally put my body through a lot over the last 51 years of my life. Okay, I've been dancing since I was 5. I was dancing professionally at 13 years old, way into my college years, teaching group fitness for over 20 years. So that's a lot of pirouettes, cha-cha-chas, and Zumba shuffles, right? A lot. It's a lot. It's a lot more than most people do, right? So for you, it may have been lots of pickleball, right? Maybe in the last 10, 15 years, maybe a lot of dancing. We do have a lot of dancers in here. Maybe you love riding your bike. So maybe that's been, something you've been doing for a long time. Maybe you're a runner. Maybe your profession, right? Your profession was you were a hairstylist, so you were cutting hair all day, right? Maybe you were in an office. Maybe you had to type a lot. Okay, so all of those things, you've put your body through a lot, and it means that our body needs maintenance. Okay, not exactly retirement. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we have to stop moving, right? Or that you have to stop dancing, or that you have to stop living. It just means that you have to take care of your parts, right? So we are not retiring our bodies. We're not like hanging it up. No, we are just maintaining them. That's what we have to do. And that brings me all to today's topic, okay? Because I didn't want the cortisone shot, okay? I really didn't. Cortisone is a steroid, and I'm allergic to some steroids, okay? So today's topic is all about anti-inflammatories, okay? The good and the bad, all right? And I think it's very important for you to know the good and the bad. Just like when I researched it, there was a lot of things that I didn't know that I now know that I want to share with you. Okay, so again, cortisone shots, I didn't want them. I hear about them all the time. I was hearing about them all the time. All the people that I see on a daily basis, a lot of you that come to me with your pains and ailments and all your stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I got a cortisone shot. Oh, I have an appointment to get my cortisone shot. Oh, get the cortisone shot, right? But yeah, I was like, no, I don't want that, okay? But even beyond that, I knew that I didn't want to just keep treating the symptoms without understanding the cause. And I also didn't want to keep reaching for anti-inflammatories or steroids without knowing how they could affect my body long term. Okay. And I know that for a lot of you, you're like, who has time to do that? I did. I had time to research it. And so now you don't have to, because I'm here. I mean, you can certainly do your own research, but I'm here to tell you a little more about it tonight. So some of you may not know this, but I'm allergic to ibuprofen. I know, it's totally weird. Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, "Oh, are you allergic to any medications?" I'm like, "Yes, ibuprofen." They always look at me like I'm a cuckoo. I know, and I'm like, "Yes, I know. It's weird, but I am." My eyes swell up, like literally, like I don't know, like I got plastic surgery or something. Like they're like huge. And then when I also get hives. It's a really bad allergic reaction. So when I talk about anti-inflammatories, this isn't just like a theory for me. I have to be extremely careful about what I take, and I know firsthand that these medications are not one size fits all. Okay. And I'm not saying that anti-inflammatories are evil. I don't want you to think that I'm saying that, because I'm not. And I'm not telling you to never take them. What I'm saying is that we all need to be informed. Okay. So I hope that maybe you learned something out of today. Maybe you know all this already. Not sure. Okay, so let me just take a moment before I get into it. Bev is here. Bev, oh, it was so good to see you this morning. Yes, and Candace too. Welcome, welcome. Really glad you asked so many questions. A lot of people don't. Yes, if I had a dime for every time I've been told it's overused, does it stop me? No, I know. I know. All right, so I don't know if you all know this, but pain relief is not always the same as healing. Okay, and I think somehow they kind of get mixed up. They get a little twisted. Okay, because when you go to the doctor with specific, I'm talking about joint pain because that's what I'm going through, right? But when you go to the doctor with joint pain and there's no tear, there's no fracture, like they've done the whole assessment, and they're like, oh, it's just, a little sprain, or you've put strain on the area. The usual answer is going to be rest, right? Or put some ice on it, or put some heat on it. And here's a prescription for anti-inflammatories, because that's what's causing the pain. You're really inflamed, and the inflammation is what's causing the more pain. And you take it because you're desperate. You're like, I don't like to feel like this. I don't want to feel pain. And your brain is like, yes, take that. Take it, because I don't like the way I'm feeling, right? So it's super common, super normal, but there are side effects and trade-offs that many of you don't know, okay? Or maybe you do know and you've just chosen to look the other way. That's okay. But I'm going to talk about the 3 most common ones that are prescribed, which are ibuprofen. Always, the doctors always want to give me that. I'm like, my chart says, and they're like, oh, naproxen. Oh, there's a favorite. And let me see if I can pronounce this. Celecoxib. Okay, we'll talk about what you know it as. And sometimes prednisone gets added in there too, which is a steroid, not a standard anti-inflammatory, but we'll get to that one because it does get prescribed. And depending on where you shop or what the label says, you may see them under different names. Okay, so usually most people know that ibuprofen is also sold as Advil or Motrin, right? All of which I cannot take. Okay, so if anything ever happens to me in class, please know to tell emergency services that I cannot have that. Okay, naproxen is sold as what? Aleve, right? Aleve. And then celecoxib is prescription only. Now you can't get over the counter, but it's called by its generic name or brand name, Celebrex. Okay, so some of you may be like, oh yeah, right? So sometimes the name on the bottle is different, but the ingredient is what we're talking about here. That's what matters the most. So let's take the first one, my favorite, right? Ibuprofen. This is the one, it's the most common, right, that people take. But it has side effects, right? Of course, it can upset your stomach, especially if you take it on an empty stomach. Now, for most women over 50, this can be a problem because most of the ladies that I speak to, especially my single ladies, right, that don't like to cook, guess what? They're not eating enough or they barely eat. So if you're taking this medication now on an empty stomach, you're going to feel really bad in your stomach. It can also raise your blood pressure, okay, in some of you, and it may put stress on your kidneys if it's used too much. Okay, and I know, I've met people that are like popping those in, any pain that they feel, boop, they're taking that. Okay, so just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Now, as for me, I can't take it because of the allergic reaction that I know I'm going to get, right? And it's not cute. Some of you know that have taken classes with me in person. Some of you know that I've come to class with my eyes like swollen from having an allergic reaction. So yes, it may help pain, but it's not something to treat like candy, if that makes sense, right? So if this is helping you on ibuprofen, like let me know, put a little heart in the comments. This way I know at least I'm making sense. All right, let's move to our next bestie, naproxen. Naproxen, right? Naproxen or Aleve, right, is another common one. Usually, we've taken it for like back pain, knee pain, muscle pain, right? Just it's out there, right? And it tends to last longer, right? That's what makes it the best, that you feel really good without the pain for a longer amount of time. And that sounds awesome, right? You're like, yes, but longer lasting doesn't mean harmless. Okay, so it can still cause stomach irritation, it can cause heartburn, and maybe in some cases stomach bleeding, right? And this is all from frequent use, of course, and it can also stress your kidneys and increase cardiovascular risk in some people. So, you definitely want to know about those things. And then we have Celebrex, right, or celecoxib as a name prescribed, which is gentler on your stomach, but of course still has side effects. And this is just like a little side note. Doesn't mean that medications are like the worst ever, but I'm gonna say most medications have side effects. So it's very important for you to know what those are. So Celebrex, let's talk about, it can affect your blood pressure again. So as I'm saying this, if you're someone that suffers from high blood pressure already, these are like red flags for you to know, right? Kidney function, if you're having stuff going on with your kidneys, these are not the best ones. And heart health, okay? So even if it feels like an easier option, you still need to check on the side effects. Now, our friend prednisone, okay, is a steroid, and it works a little differently. It can be very helpful in some situations because, maybe the inflammation is like really, really bad, and so the doctor thinks, okay, let's use the steroid so that the pain goes away faster, right? The inflammation goes down faster. And it can be helpful in some situations, but it can also raise your blood sugar, increase your appetite, cause water retention, affect your mood, and affect your sleep. Okay, some people have reported that they feel like wired, so they can't sleep, right? They feel moody, and some people just can't rest. Okay, so if it's used too often or too long, it can also affect your bone health and muscle over time. Okay, and that's how I know a lot about this one, because obviously I work with women that are trying to get stronger, right, to stay independent. And so we go through this, what medications are you taking or have you taken? So I have to research these things, right? So I know. And that matters. This all matters for us because we don't want to lose strength, right? Like we're working so hard to keep our strength. We don't want to lose it while we're trying to feel better. And we certainly don't want to gain weight, right? You don't want to gain more weight while you're trying to lose it, or keep it off, right? So if you're trying to lose weight and build muscle, which most of us are, and your body has to recover well. But if the pain medicine is masking a problem, or the side effects are making you hungrier, puffy, tired, less active, then progress is going to slow down. Okay? And in some cases, that's when we feel like, I fell off I'm so off track. I feel out of shape again. Forget it. I'm not going to do it. I failed, right? But it wasn't that. It wasn't you, right? It was the medication. So when your body starts to hurt, what happens? You move less, right? Because you don't want it to hurt. So your brain tells you, stop moving. And then when you move less, what happens? You start burning less, right? If a car stops working if you stop driving your car, the car eventually will not move the way it used to or drive the way it used to, right? When you start to burn less, weight loss gets harder, right? Because your metabolism is going to slow down. And when you can't do your regularly scheduled program, right? So those of you that are maybe taking classes every day, or maybe you are lifting weights and doing strength training and doing all these things, when you can't do that consistently, your strength is going to take a big hit. Okay? And that's why I always say, don't just ask what can take the pain away, because there's a medication for everything, right? Of course, there's a medication that will take the pain away. But what you really should be asking is, what's causing the pain, right? Try to find out, why is this happening to me? Okay, and what is the best long-term plan? What is the plan? Okay, so I'm taking these anti-inflammatories, then what? Right? What is the plan? You can't be just take this and call me in a couple of days. No, what happens? What's next for me if this doesn't work, right? Or what are my options? Are there things out there that I can be doing? Should I start physical therapy now? You have to really be a good advocate for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So for example, I get this all the time, so that's why I use this as an example. My knees, I haven't come to class because my knees are hurting me all the time. I get this all the time. And as a fitness coach, I'm okay, I do a quick assessment in my head as I'm having this conversation. Visually, does the client look like they are overweight? Does the client look like they're underweight? Is this person active? If they are active, what does that active even mean for them? Are they lifting? Are they doing strength training? Have they had x-rays? Have they had MRIs? Are there any tears? Is there any bone fractures? Is it bone on bone? Is it osteoporosis? So there's so many questions in that one moment when I am speaking to someone about their pain, right? Because all of those things can be related to the pain, right? And because my personal goal and the goal for you is not just for you to feel better for a few days, right? We're talking long term. The goal is to stay strong long term, to keep moving long term, to keep dancing, traveling, whatever that is, long term, to stay independent long term for as long as you are breathing on this earth, right? So here's what I want you to remember from all of this. Pain is a signal. And we've said this several times in here, right? Pain is the way your body has a conversation with you. Medication can help for sure, but it may not solve the problem. Okay. And anti-inflammatories are good, but they have side effects that you should be aware of. Okay. And there are steroids out there like prednisone, and some of them can affect your appetite, your mood, your blood sugar, your sleep, and other things. Okay, so it's important to know those side effects, because when you're feeling those, it's very easy to blame it on everything else, and you may not realize that it's the medication. Okay, so it's important for you to know this. And if the pain keeps coming back, ask more questions and find out what options you have. Okay, the doctor sometimes, they don't have all the answers, and that's okay. That's okay for them not to have the answer. But is there another specialist that you should see? Is there another kind of therapy that you can explore, or whatever it is? If I didn't ask all the questions when it was my, for my elbow, I probably would have just done the surgery, because I was really that desperate. I was like, I cannot function with this elbow this way. It was affecting my life 100% of the time. And I did my research. I have a friend who is an orthopedist in Miami, and she was telling me all about plasma injections. There was, so many people that I spoke to, and I was just trying to weigh out my options before I decided on what was going to be best for me. Okay, so if you want to stay strong, you need to protect your muscles, your bones, and the mobility in your body. Right? You need to protect all that. So you really need to find out what those options are. And I'm not anti-medication. I've taken medication lots of times. Okay, so I know, but I am pro-information. Okay, and I get it. I get that the internet is so full of information, truth and then false information, right? So it's like, how do you decide? How do you know? And you have these companies trying to sell you things. It's like, you'll see an ad pops up on your Facebook saying like, do you have headaches? And you're like, yes, that's me, right? And then that grabs your attention, right? Or are you over 55 and suffering from knee pain? Oh, you're like, that's me, right? And then boom, you're hooked, right? So it's really about you being the best, the best at knowing what's going to be the best for you, right? Ultimately, the doctor is going to give you their opinion, but it's up to you to really weigh out your options, right? And I truly, truly believe in listening to your body and in asking questions, right? And not doing what everybody else has done or what they're recommending for you to do. Like, you really need to make that decision on your own. And I'm also a big believer in getting to the root cause. Okay, so if let's take the knee pain example. If I'm in my conversation with a client, they're telling me they are overweight. They've been told that they're overweight. They're not very active. They won't even get into the water to do water aerobics. Like, they don't do anything. They lead a very sedentary life. And so, yeah, your knees are going to hurt you, right? And it's only going to get worse from there, right? So these are all things like that is the root of the problem, the inactivity, right? The inactivity. Have you had x-rays? Yes. What did the doctor say? No, well, it's just a lot of inflammation in the area. Okay, so nothing's broken. No. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying? Like, we need to get to the root of the problem. When it was my elbow, it was like, okay, well, what causes this? Well, overuse. Okay, well, I don't really, like even for me, I was like, I don't really use my elbows a lot. And then I'm like, oh wait, yes I do. I had to tell the doctor, when he's like, oh, you're gonna be fine. You're this shot is gonna do. I had to literally explain to him, be like, okay, doctor, I'm not sure you know what I do for a living. Let me explain to you what my days look like Monday through Friday. And I went through all of it. He was like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying now, right? So you really do just need to have conversations. And I know that that's difficult because in the medical profession, it's so hard for them because they are really limited to like 10 minutes with you. But if you go prepared, with your questions and just really, like I said, checking the facts on the things, looking at the bottles, looking at the other side of the bottles, that's going to help you, right? Because we don't just want to survive. I don't know about you, but I just don't want to survive. That's, to me, is not living, right? I want to live my life fully. And that's what I want for you too. I want to be able to continue dancing. Those of you that love to dance, don't you want to continue dancing? Don't you want to continue moving, right? I want a strong life, and I'm sure that that's what you want. You want to be strong for life, right? So the next time that your body starts talking to you, don't cover up the message, right? Because your body is leaving you voicemails, so you need to listen to it, right? Let me see what the comments are here. I turned down the shots. I remembered that you were allergic to ibuprofen, so I was wondering where you were going to go with this. Yeah, I know. Candace knows a lot about my health issues. But yeah, so that's it for me. I wanted to just make this short and sweet for you, so that you had a better understanding on anti-inflammatories and to not be so quick, right? To say, yes, I'll take them, right? Just see what your options are first. And also, if you are feeling these side effects, just know that it's not you, it's the medications, and that the medications sometimes cause these things. And so they might set you back, which is a whole other topic, right? Setbacks. But, just to really accept it and to let your body heal as it needs to, and then just pick up right back up where you need to and keep on going. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week, which is my birthday week. Well, no, not yet, but it's early birthday week. It's coming. All right, everybody, good night.